But I'm actually very interested in what you guys have to say about it. I know how I feel about the situation, but why don't we go with Chad? Where do you fall on what, like, the competition? Like, how does it stack up to traditional sports? Like, how can you compare them yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is something that I've somewhat defended over the course of my life, where people say that, why would you ever watch somebody play a video game? Just go play the video game yourself. But then they sit down and watch somebody play football or watch somebody play baseball, which is a game that they could go play themselves. So I wouldn't say that they're athletes. I wouldn't go that far by any stretch. But I know that probably all three of us would agree that a lot of the people that are in those competitions are doing stuff that we can't go out and do, right? Would you agree with that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
to that level for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I have a hard time with the athlete thing or calling it a sport per se, because like it's the same thing as like, is golf a sport? Is poker a sport? Some of the stuff that other people argue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I would say no on the athlete / sport part of it.
But what about you, Jordan?
I have no problem calling it a sport. I would say no on the athlete side as well. I think it's pretty. I think the line goes for me to where, like, the old age old idea of, like, should it be in the Olympics? I say no, just because of the traditional history that the Olympics have. But I have no problem calling it, esports. I mean, like, it's like, how else are you going to digitize sports to the next level, or at least call it that?
Yeah.
I think you're almost comparing apples to oranges, but they're both fruit, right? So
Right.
it's really
It's actually a really good comparison right there.
Yeah. You can look at it that way, and I think that will allow people just to be like, oh, okay, I get it, I understand now, but keep it out of the Olympics. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Olympic.
Is that a thing?
They've been trying.
They've been trying for a while.
Yeah. I mean, there's some obscure things in the Olympics, so I don't think it's as out of place as you might think it is. If you look at the game list of the Olympics, there's some odd stuff in there, like air pistol shooting.
I was just gonna
random.
I was just gonna say, there's some really weird things, and they're probably like, why is this here? Did anyone even approve this? Oh, we can't get cameras down there. Just keep it going. We'll air it.
I love it. If we just look at the definition of sport, right? An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment.
And it lines up there pretty much, right?
You come down to how you would view physical exertion, right? Like,
but that's only one step of all the other things that you just said, which gaming ticks all the other ones. So I don't know that it's even that important, right?
Yeah, it's more. There's a lot of mental exertion that goes into it,
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess. Yeah.
Do you know how fast you have to move your fingers to be able to move left and right, like Jordan loves in the laning phase? To have that spazzing character movement. No, just kidding.
My right index finger has a 6-pack.
Yeah, it's like much your index and middle finger on your right hand are much fatter than the other fingers on your right hand.
I think I'll change my opinion on the sport thing, just because I think that, like I said earlier, I think a lot of people consider poker a sport. It's just any game that's being played for entertainment purposes, I guess, to me, is a sport. It doesn't have to be a physical exertion that you're doing, right?
Yeah. Like Biosiv says here, Olympic Committee considers chess a sport. You
don't
have to be an athlete to compete in a sport, which is good, very valid point. And for me, it's just like a sport is defined by a competition to victory, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's an individual or a team competing against another individual or a team in some sort of game in which there will be a winner and a loser.
Right.
Like, that is a sport to me. And then when you add in playing for an audience for entertainment purposes, like, it can't get much clearer.
Yeah, it's definitely a sport. I would never argue that. I mean, esports are even played in like stadiums at this point, auditoriums at least, and you have excited fans wearing merchandise representing those teams, and they're cheering them on zealously. It definitely has all the ingredients of what sports would have. It's just how far do you take that? Like I understand the Olympics sees chess as a sport. But you don't want to upset those nerds at all.
Right.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip of the Showboys podcast. If you like what you heard, please go check out the full episode on our YouTube channel or anywhere you find your podcast content. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, join the Showboys Discord, and if you want to support the podcast and what we do, sign up to become a patron today at patreon.com/showboyspodcast.